Hello, folks. Welcome one more time to Homo Politicus. Keeps looking at issues thrown up by my country, your country, in the 21st century. The big idea, so you know. This day, more killings at Mangu in Plateau State. How more tragic can it be? Now, late Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. captured it succinctly when he said, "The ultimate tragedy is not the oppression and cruelty by the bad people, but the silence over that by the good people." In a country of over 200 million supposed good people, it must be the ultimate tragedy to have freewheeling merchants of evil go on a killing spree yet again in Plateau State. The news is that no fewer than 30 persons, mostly women and children, have been killed by assailants at the Kwahashalek, I hope I got that right, Kwahashalek village, a community in the Mangu local government area of Plateau State. Now, this is coming despite a 24-hour curfew by Governor Caleb Mutfwang. Now, hear this also. The spate of mindless killings in Plateau State, as indeed around the country, is the failure of the Nigerian state to protect her citizens. Is this our own final solution? Let's interrogate this. My discussant this morning is the journalist and political commentator, Emeka Madunagu. Emeka, I greet you. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Citizen. Good morning.
Yeah, so more killings in Mangu in Plateau State. How more tragic can it be?
Thank you very much. It's really tragic, very unfortunate that these killings have continued, as indeed they have been all over the country. It's sad that the Nigerian state has capitulated and virtually surrendered to non-state elements, criminals, if you will, terrorists, criminals, bandits, kidnappers, armed robbers.
Name them.
Treasury looters, criminals of different colors, in different spaces. You see, these killings are actually being orchestrated by certain interests that are bent on land grabbing. You see,
you mean particularly in the Middle Belt region?
Not just in the Middle Belt, they are doing this thing in different places. But the level of resistance is what determines how far they can go. In the Middle Belt, except Taraba State, they have been able to succeed largely because the people are docile.
That's the
headsmen who are actually foreign terrorists. These are hirelings hired from different countries around Africa, the Sahel, to come and wreak havoc. These are freelance criminals, freelance killers. Yes. If you listen to people who have had interactions with these people, you will understand that, you see, these guys are routinely injected into the communities of herdsmen. And so from time to time, their sponsors spring them up and send them on a killing spree.
Emeka, the man on the street will ask pointedly, what do these supposed sponsors want?
It's land grab.
Grab land for what?
No, just expansionism, that's all. Expansionism. They just want to create their own chiefdoms. Like I said before, you have Wase. Wase is a federal constituency. I think it's the only...
That's in
Plateau
State, yeah.
I think it's the only federal constituency of its type that's based on just a settlement of an ethnic group.
Okay.
Yes. You can't find anywhere, any other place in this country, that you have a federal constituency so constituted. So it is just a land grab. And those in power, they know this. They know what is going on. People are routinely
I'm fighting very hard to believe this.
You see, you just have to look at how Boko Haram came about. Oh, it was started as a religious ideology. But gradually, people began to see that actually it was just a cover provided by criminals, terrorists, for illegal miners, particularly. People who were after oil mining, who were after the illegal exploitation of oil in the Chad Basin area. People who were after setting interest, they actually wanted to set up their own territory in the Chad Basin. But you see, the Nigerian military, kudos must be given to them. Anyway, we must commend them for actually pounding these criminals relentlessly. And so, you see, they had a breakaway group. From Boko Haram, you also had the Ansaru.
Okay.
No, ISWAP was just an accidental intervention on the scene. Just another set of criminals that came in with a stronger force and were able to overcome Boko Haram, the Boko Haram leadership, Abu Shekau at that time, and they got him to kill himself. So, but by and large, the Nigerian military has been relentless in pounding these criminals. And so you find out that the Ansaru that actually moved down south, first of all, they camped around Kogi. If you remember when they attacked a convoy of Nigerian Air Force cadets somewhere in Kogi State, then they also went to a Deeper Life church somewhere in Kogi and killed people in service. They went round, they just kept going round.
Spreading terror and so on. But
you see, the only place in what you might call the Middle Belt where they've not been able to make this impact is Taraba State, because the people are warlike.
Okay.
If you remember, a prominent Nigerian was lamenting that thousands of his people have been killed, by this and that and the other. If you remember, there was also a leader, a traditional ruler somewhere in Taraba, that came out to say that among his people were criminals. He was accusing some of his people of harboring terrorists who were behind killings of farmers. So you just find out that it's a land grab scheme. And people are being routinely killed. Then these territories, their territories are being renamed. Now the question I want to ask is that, do we still have a Surveyor General's office in Nigeria? I remember interviewing the former Surveyor General sometime in Port Harcourt some years ago, and I asked him, why don't we have a definite map of Nigeria? Because there have been adjustments. You still see territories that no longer belong to Nigeria. You still see them on the Nigerian map.
Being
like Ibakasi. Why should our children be taught geography using outdated maps? It is very wrong. He said, that very soon we will bring out a new map of Nigeria. Up till now, no new map has been brought out. So if you bring out this new map, how will those territories be named?
Now let's look at the issue at hand. Gets to the Nigerian state. Is the Nigerian state mindful of all these things you are telling me, or should it be?
You see, it's so sad that the Nigerian state that should have the monopoly of violence in Nigeria has now become almost vanquished, almost overtaken by non-state elements, what you might call state capture. The state has almost been captured.
You're also talking about the failure of intelligence.
Total failure of intelligence, total failure of security, and the absence of a solid security architecture. What you have are just formalized institutions, the Nigerian police, the Nigerian military, the civil defense, just different colorful names that do not have the wherewithal, talking about the ability to confront crime, terrorism, criminality, insecurity in the 21st century. So what they just do is just to react. 30 people killed, the rest to that place. So and so happened, the rest to that place. But when it comes to political matters, you see these same people are so active. The same Nigerian police was active some days ago in firing tear gas canisters at protesting Plateau State lawmakers. But the same Nigerian police has proved totally inefficient, grossly inept in dealing with these terrorists.
Okay. A federal minister is known to have said, in reaction to what happened at Ibadan, that he keeps getting threats from powerful Nigerian figures. So are we saying that these same powerful figures might be fanning the embers of hate and what have you, such as we are experiencing in...
I know that, yes, we have problems of insecurity, but please, opportunists should not take advantage of the situation to whip up laughable scenarios. This same federal minister, some time ago, said, oh, powerful Nigerians are behind illegal mining. Name them. He has not named them. You are coming out again to say that they are threatening you. But this same minister was not during electioneering. He called the supporters...
He's a journalist, basically.
He called the supporters of a presidential candidate, he called them wild dogs. He has not retracted that ugly, ignoble, shameful description. So I don't take him seriously. Because for somebody to use such a heinous description, you shows that whatever he says should be taken just with a pinch of salt. He's not a serious human being. Any serious human being would have made efforts to say, yes, security agencies, these are the powerful Nigerians behind these things. Please deal with them. He's just trying to draw attention to himself. Yes, so it's not somebody I take seriously, even though he's a member of this government. I don't take him seriously. Because I just feel that the task that has been given to him is beyond his intellectual capacity. So what I believe is this. Look at what happened in Ibadan. It's part of what we're talking about restructuring. But the very people that should benefit from restructuring are the ones who have been insulting us. Telling us, what do you know about restructuring? You are talking nonsense. And then look at it. A foreigner, all the way from Mali, came to Ibadan, in Old Bodija, the heart of Ibadan.
Emeka, but that foreigner, your foreigner is saying he'd been legally empowered to do what he's doing.
By the federal government.
Yes.
But the state government doesn't know about it. The local government doesn't know about it. As a matter of fact, if he had confined the storage of his dynamite to the mining site, that would be a different conversation.
Yeah.
But did the federal government license him to be carrying dynamite across the busy metropolis of Ibadan?
Yeah, residential environment.
Was he giving that? You see, that is why we mix up issues. We mix up issues in this country. You have been given a license to mine. Okay, but members of the miner association say you are an illegal miner. Now, a foreigner is telling us, is interpreting our constitution to us. That shows how lowly we have sunk. Why? Because of corruption. Because people are more interested in filthy lucre, in the taste of ugly money, dirty money.
Yeah.
So they've sold
blood money.
They've sold their souls to the devil. So any foreigner can come to Nigeria and say any baloney about our laws and insult us. Insult us in the process because he knows that what is it? After all, he was alleged to be to be enjoying security cover. So who are you to come and question him? These are the gaps in the security architecture. That's why I've been calling for an all-inclusive security architecture. If it is state police, if it is community policing, let it be at all levels and let there be a restructuring. You cannot be telling me that states cannot pay, they cannot pay their workers, they cannot pay pensioners, they cannot pay teachers. Yet, the resources mined in their territories are going straight to Abuja. What is Abuja doing with 52%, 52.6% of the federal allocation? Where does Abuja control? The federal government controls only the FCT.
Emeka, proceeds from illegal mining going to the center? Illegal mining?
Both legal and illegal mining. And how much of the proceeds for illegal mining is actually going to government's coffers?
So let's go back to the Plateau killing fields. That it profits people in the system. that these killings must go on, it brings my mind to the German final solution, if you remember what I mean.
No, I wouldn't bring that, try to make that comparison.
Okay.
Because this one is outright criminality. You see, these terrorists or bandits, by whatever name they've been called, these people are enforcers for land grabbers, for illegal miners. So what they do is that there are many mining sites in Plateau State, for tin, for copper, for different minerals in Plateau State. So if you look at the map, if you look at the map of the resources of Nigeria, these resources are scattered in different places. So what do? They act as, as a bad men. They go ahead to clear territories. It's like the media has unfortunately allowed itself to be sucked into that false narrative that it's a farmer headers clash. It's nothing like that. This is plain terrorism.
Emeka, after close to 64 years of a flag and anthem in independence, if you permit that, we still are unable to determine citizenship, settlership, and indigenship.
Those are not problems at all. Those are not problems.
Yeah, because in the Plateau area, the settler and citizens wahala has been on for decades.
Have they had any problem? In Kano State, the former governor Ganduje built a huge rural settlement. How come it is not fully occupied? How come it's not fully occupied?
But the enemies of state were not favorably disposed to it.
No, but it has not stopped operating. The rural settlement is still operating. So it's not about any settler or indigene or whatever. There are a lot of people today who have somehow or the other, immersed themselves in places where they are not originally from.
Emeka, if the state, Nigerian state, understands what you are talking about, then couldn't the seeming failure of that state to go after these purveyors of evil not tell you that there's a final solution or something, there's a solution to some problem?
You see, the solution is very simple. We have a big problem of illegal mining on our hands. It's a big problem. Illegal mining, illegal logging. It's a big problem that has been around for decades, even before the Fourth Republic. These things have been there. And like somebody said that, you see, these people are creating future environmental problems for all these areas. They dig huge pits, big pits everywhere. They dig big pits everywhere looking for all these solid minerals. They don't care about the effect on the people. In addition, they kill the people. So, this illegal mining...
The Niger Delta is no better in this regard.
Oh, look at Niger Delta. Okay, look at Shell. That was accused of environmental degradation. Now, Shell has sold off its onshore assets and abandoned its obligation to cleaning up the Niger Delta. So what do we have to do?
Sold up, bought by
Nigerians.
Powerful Nigerians.
Powerful Nigerians who, at the end of the day, may just tell the people that, listen, we don't have any obligation to you.
All right. Emeka, we'll take a breather here, but the viewer will understand that we're looking at issues thrown up by contemporary Nigeria, and today more killings in Mangu local government area of Plateau State, and we're asking how more tragic can it be? And for that matter, should we say the answer is blowing in the wind after a popular song? We'll take this breather and come back. Please don't go away.
Price TV, your one-stop shop for news, programs, human angle stories, the economy, sports, and much more. We go the extra mile to bring incredible details to you. So hop on the train now. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
All right then, welcome back. more killings in Mangu attack in Plateau State. How more tragic can it be? My discussant is Emeka Madunagu. Thanks for watching. Emeka, so as it is, you get the impression this is not about to end soon.
See, it will only end when the governor realizes that he is up against people who want to just wipe out the indigenous population of the state and take over the entire place.
Indigenous population of the state.
You have the Irigwe people, you have the different the Mwaghavul, the Irigwe, you have different indigenous populations.
Wipe them out.
And take over their territories.
So that in a Nigerian state,
so that they can be in charge of those areas and engage in whatever they want to.
And the Nigerian state will remain like a lame duck.
That's why we've called for restructuring. Of course, I've called for restructuring. That some of these things, there should be state police. That some of these functions should be given to the states. They should be given to the states. More accountability should be given to the states. Yes, I know that between the states and local government, they control more than 40% of the monthly allocation. But the point is that benefits must go with responsibility. The sad thing is that this is not the case so far. So it is not about if it was actually farmer headers clashes as we are made to believe, it should be taking place more in the south and not in the middle belt. Because it's in the south you have lush vegetation, you have water all year round, you have lush vegetation.
What the farmers crave.
What the farmers crave and what the herdsmen also crave.
Yeah.
They say, oh, their cows their cattle need grass. Why is it in the middle belt? Right now, everywhere is dry. It's only in the south, in some places in the south that you will see lush vegetation.
But Emeka, I'm trying to see how restructuring would help put an end to this rubbish.
You see, restructuring will first of all involve all Nigerians as stakeholders. So it will not be a situation where you just sit down and you expect Abuja to do for you what your state governor or local government chairman can do.
But sorry, Israel seems to be doing that.
No. Israel has been dealing with external enemies. In Nigeria's case, we are dealing with external enemies wreaking havoc inside Nigeria.
Okay.
Israel's own is that the external enemies who just come from time to time, and then Israel pursues them to territories outside Israel, not necessarily under the direct control of Israel.
Okay.
Like what is happening in Gaza. So that of Nigeria is that we are such a large country. It's such a big country. Nigeria was put together, was hobbled together by the British, just so that the South could found the North.
So many countries were being put together like
but they are disintegrated. Yes, Yugoslavia. How many such countries are existing? Apart from maybe the United States. How many of such countries are existing? Yugoslavia has disintegrated, which was even the biggest such contraption. That disintegrated. So the point is that we need some loosening up in this country.
But does it not beat your imagination that powerful individuals on the inside are gaining by what the rubbish that's going on?
Yes, it's because the government has surrendered its monopoly of violence to this powerful individual. I don't see anything powerful in being a murderer. In being a murderer, a mass murderer. I don't see anything powerful. It's just being wicked and
satanic.
What have you? That's all. Wasting human lives because of because of spurious motives.
And look at the figure, frightening figures. You go on a spree, a killing spree, wipe out
the people must say no. they should find out from the people of Taraba how they've been able to keep these people in check. They must say no. The people, I will say I've said it again and again on different forums, that the people should take up arms. If the government is not ready to defend them, they should be ready to defend themselves. You're not talking of people.
But in this village, what's the village again? Kwahash Lalek, and a resident is known to have attacked them with an AK-47 and killed one of them.
Well, you have instances of such even in Benue. Yes, of the people,
resolute people,
of the people, the indigenous people fighting back. But it must now become a
concerted,
a concerted effort, a regular thing.
Yeah.
You see, you have to speak the language that these criminals understand. You cannot wait for the Nigerian state, because look at it. Look at how vast. I've traveled around many parts of Nigeria. I've traveled across many parts of Nigeria. You find certain areas uninhabited, ungoverned spaces. You won't see a single police station for kilometers. You won't see a single police station.
More so in the north.
Not even a police post. You won't even see any army. Maybe you come across some checkpoints here and there, but you don't see such.
You think that's deliberate?
You see, it's part of the problem of...
No, is it deliberate?
Deliberate to the extent that the leaders lack the capacity to bring about development. Why do we have so many ungoverned? Okay, let me give you an example. A friend of mine was saying that the reason why it will be difficult for kidnappers to be based in Lagos on a recurring basis because you have very few undeveloped spaces in Lagos. Lagos is built up.
Considering its size.
So if you triangulate their phone numbers, it's easy to zero in and get them. But when you leave so many uncovered spaces, undeveloped spaces, so people feel at liberty to go into those so-called forests.
That must answer my question. It's deliberate.
It's deliberate misgovernance, which is being exploited by sundry criminals.
Yeah.
They engage in illegal logging. Because actually the forests are supposed to be under the control of the state government. But the forest guards, where do you find them? You don't find them in the forest, you find them on the highways. And they tell you, they don't have arms now, they cannot face these illegal miners. That's why I talk about the structuring. You should have state police. At
that point, what would restructuring do?
Restructuring, for instance, look at Amotekun, the southwest. Imagine if Amotekun was given the right to carry AK-47. It would be more effective. It would drive away this criminal. Look at what happened in the northeast with the civilian JTF working together with the Nigerian military. Look at what they were able to do.
If Amotekun was that empowered to carry assault rifles, don't you think the fear of them misdirecting the rifles?
That's why I said earlier that benefits must come with responsibility. You have a federal police that can't protect the people. Yet, you have rogue elements among them who extort people, even kill people at checkpoints.
Yeah.
Who sit back and turn the extortion venues. So which one is better? Is it not better? Let the responsibility be given to the states. But let it be constitutionally enshrined that whatever benefits are being given to the state police must be backed by responsibility.
Emeka, at a time like this, you expect the lawmakers at the federal and state level from Plateau State, Plateau Benue, for instance, and Kogi, to rise to the occasion.
Well, that is if they have the capacity to understand the depth of the problem, to understand the dimensions of the problem. One problem we have in Nigeria is lack of capacity, undercapacity in governance. Like the other day, there was this argument about somebody who was being nominated for the position of a judge for elevation as the head of a judicial division. And people are saying that this man will not be able to fit in because all his life he has just been involved in adjudicating cases. He doesn't know about accounting. He doesn't know about certain other administrative, he cannot run that division. So you just take people who have been on just one track, people who have not been given training in different areas, you just put them in sensitive positions and you expect them to perform. They cannot perform.
Emeka, so you can summarize all these things in the statement that society prepares the crime, the criminal commits it.
Yes, society even prepares the stage. Society even prepares the venues. Society prepares the incentives we have on government spaces. And criminals take them over. Why are those spaces ungoverned? When we have food inflation is over 30%. When people should be on the farms, the government should have actually taken up the fight against insecurity as number one. Clear bandits from the farms so that people can go back to the farm. You know, yes, we want sophistication in agriculture, but you see, we must start from our areas of comparative advantage. Subsistence farming is one area of comparative advantage. While we are trying to scale, our farming to bring in modern methods, but let the people, at least who can use their hoes, machetes, and all of that, let them be able to produce food in abundance for us, so that food inflation can go down drastically.
Emeka, I hear we must apply the brakes here, but not before thanking you for coming. That's Emeka Madunagu, journalist, political commentator. On the topic, more killings in Mangu, attack in Plateau State of Nigeria. How more tragic can it be? On behalf of the producer, director, and the backroom boys, this is yours sincerely, Citizen Jones Hussein saying bye-bye. Thank you till the next time.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.